Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
It's a great day. I'm Mark Imperial. Have you ever wanted to learn about holistic tax-free income strategies in retirement plans? That's what we'll discuss today with our guest, Jack Hradesky. Jack grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he graduated from the University of Pittsburgh as an engineer. He then earned a master's degree in applied statistics from the Rochester Institute of Technology and later became a professional engineer. In 1980, Jack was nominated Entrepreneur of the Year in Orange County, California by Ernst & Young, Merrill, Lynch, and Inc. magazine. He's a two-time best-selling author, and his focus for the past 15 years has been on retirement planning with an emphasis on reducing taxes. Jack, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me today.
So, Jack, tell me about your business and the types of clients that you help.
My role is an income planner, and I specialize in implementing tax-free income strategies for clients who are in pre-retirement or retirement. My clients implement strategies that position their assets into tax-advantaged accounts to minimize taxes during retirement and ensure they are immune from any future tax increases due to the national debt. My role is to educate and implement the strategies of the wealthy and powerful, who actually are the top 1% of all taxpayers, so that everyone, even in the lower tax levels, can benefit from the strategies. My approach is to develop a retirement plan that is holistic, meaning I use a wide range of different strategies to achieve my clients' goals. The first task is to identify their visions, goals, and essential living requirements and lifestyle requirements. The second task is to educate them and work collaboratively with them in developing a retirement plan. I am determined to be unbiased as possible and provide fees which are transparent. The third task is to guide them to clarity and clear decisions. We will review their present status or status quo and their proposed status, and sometimes this is done in phases. The plan typically includes guaranteed income for both spouses and increasing income when their ages are applicable. The status quo plan is developed, which will display when they will run out of money, and the proposed plan will display if and when they would run out of money.
Jack, how do you separate yourself from other advisors that are out there?
Well, most brokers and financial advisors concentrate on accumulation of assets, but many times expose their clients to higher risk and higher fees necessary to accomplish their goals. In tandem, many times they do not even consider tax implications and do not focus on net yields and income. My aim is to have the client's principal positioned in strategies that are considered safe and tax-free. I used a Rule 100 to determine how much of their assets should be at risk, providing they are willing to lose some of their money. In regards to the client's essential living requirements, and that's basically their home, food, medical, and transportation costs, the plan will assure their needs are satisfied with guaranteed income for life for both spouses. I recommend options that are guaranteed income for life that have the potential to increase income if they are at the appropriate age. Increasing income options are implemented to mitigate inflation risk, which are one of the significant risks for all retirement people. Significant emphasis is on lowering the tax burden on my client's income. This helps stretch their money and allows a higher standard of living. I take a focused approach to mitigate that tax situation. First, by focusing on the method that they save and grow their money, then considering the strategies that will provide them tax-free income for their portfolios. We use the tax-free bucket as much as possible. Going from always tax money to never tax money is the basic goal. If you've seen Ed Slott on TV, who is a CPA, and he advocates get rid of your IRAs, I am one of his disciples.
How do you address the tax savings that a CPA and many financial advisors out there do not address?
The tax strategies utilize special design life insurance, which are characterized as advanced insurance strategies. This is similar to doctors who are specialists or a PhD of any subject. This knowledge separates me from other advisors and CPAs. Even insurance companies have limited employees for consultation who are at the competent level of knowledge, a PhD level, with these strategies and products. The population that utilizes these strategies are a portion of the top 1% of taxpayers. Most CPAs and financial advisors are not aware of them, or especially do not have competent knowledge of these strategies that advanced insurance products currently offer in the areas of tax minimization. Therefore, only a small percentage of CPAs and financial advisors are aware of them, even less have experience implementing them. Hence, only a few have competent knowledge of the strategies. This is the breakdown. Only 1% of the taxpayers own them, and they own 22% of all life insurance. The second largest segment that owns them are banks. The third is corporate America, the Fortune 100 companies. My role is to introduce all these strategies to anyone who would be suitable and can benefit from them. These strategies are to enable you to, 1, convert your IRAs and 401ks to tax-free income for life without paying taxes from your pocket. And also convert a portion of your 401k IRA to a Roth IRA without paying taxes from your pocket. And also to transform your 401k IRA to mimic your Roth so your IRA will produce tax-free income. All these strategies that utilize arbitrage like the banks do. If it is legal for the banks and good for the banks, it's good for me and it's good for my clients. The bottom line is to minimize the taxes to maintain their lifestyle and not be impacted when the taxes are increased to pay the national debt.
Why do CPAs and financial advisors have a negative perspective on life insurance products?
Many CPAs and financial advisors' knowledge of insurance is exclusively limited to death benefits. This is 180 degrees opposite to what advanced insurance products offer. Advanced insurance products offer living benefits and minimum death benefit. It is the difference between a zebra and a horse. They look similar, but the horse's utility is significantly different than a zebra's utility. There is a great gap between the knowledge of a CPA and financial advisors who do not have the training and pass the test for insurance license as experienced agents. The average CPA, insurance agent, and I mean insurance agents too, there's a lot of them, and financial advisors really are operating like a medical doctor who have not passed the boards. This is why some of the advice that they give is inappropriate. Knowledge of advanced strategies for licensed CPAs and financial advisors are even rare because most of them do not deal with the top 1% of taxpayers with advanced strategies. However, there is a small percent of CPAs and financial advisors who actually sell the products we are talking about because they're advocates of them. They specialize in death benefits and annuities and not so much in the advanced products. The reason is not that the products are good or bad. It is because how much time they can invest in getting trained and keeping up with the ever-changing products. So when you're asking a CPA or a financial advisor for their opinion, ask them if they have a license and what training they have taken. Ask them how many clients they have who are the 1%ers and how many of them even have any knowledge of the advanced products. Otherwise, you're asking someone who is not qualified to give you a qualified opinion. This is common because what they do not know, they do not know. My purpose is to make these strategies available to anyone who can benefit them and who are suitable for them.
Jack, what inspired you personally to go into financial services?
Long before I entered the financial services, I had a consulting business, and I had an epiphany. In 1997, when the NAFTA Act was voted in Congress, I predicted we'd have 5 million people out of work. I was wrong. 25 million people were out of work in the mid-2000s. Unfortunately, my firm was and as well as all my competition, were impacted as millions of manufacturing jobs were outsourced. Never did I think I would be the victim of the NAFTA Act's poor decision. When my company was impacted, I had to decide what I wanted to do when I grew up. I was attracted to helping people similar that I helped corporations. That was an easy decision, as I did not want to fly all over the country as I did in my consulting business. I started to specialize in being unique and learning various strategies on reducing taxes, using arbitrage like banks, and having guaranteed income. I recalled that during the 70s and 80s, the only retirement education that was available were from stockbrokers. After 1986, I realized, in my opinion, the only reason they were named brokers because they made you broke. When I started meeting people entering into the field of financial services, I discovered how many people had been ill-advised by their stockbrokers, CPAs, and security advisors with all kinds of designations. It blew me away how many of them had antiquated biases and still did not use all the options that were available. And today, nothing has changed. It does not matter how many professional designations that they have, because the designations do not reflect product knowledge. It amazed me that if you ask the same question to 5 stockbrokers, 5 CPAs, 5 security advisors, 5 insurance agents, you get 20 different answers. Many of these people are excellent at their jobs, but they do not have their clients' interest at heart, and many people do not have time to invest to become retirement specialists along with their other full-time profession. Having knowledge of advanced insurance products and keeping current with all the ongoing changes is a full-time job. I started my quest to become extremely well-versed and educated in retirement planning, specializing in tax-free strategies for tax-free income and guaranteed income for life. I am now preparing to become a licensed as an investment advisor. While I've always put my clients' interests first, there will be no different behavior as I have been practicing.
Jack, what do you say are the most common misconceptions that pre-retirees have?
Almost all the people believe that the IRA and 401k are the true ideal strategies to save money for retirement. This is not entirely true. There are pros and cons. The 401k strategies can grow your assets tax-deferred. However, as the assets compound, so does your taxes compound. Then, the 401k are taxed as ordinary income when you withdraw it. Actuaries have mathematical models providing alternate investments with equal yields, and the alternate investments will outperform the 401k and IRA. When taxes are part of the equation, the 401ks are seriously outperformed by a Roth and even more by an alternative vehicle. I always ask, if everything you thought was to be true about the 401k and IRA were untrue, when would you want to know? Most people believe that they will retire at a lower tax rate than they are in. That is only true if you have not saved any qualified money, 401k, that is 401k and IRA money. However, when they have a large amount of 401k and IRA money and desire to maintain their lifestyles, their tax rate will be comparable to when working and may be higher due to the RM days from qualified accounts or tax increases. This is a large nut to swallow after the CPAs and advisors have told them for years that they will be at a lower tax rate when they retire. Also, most people believe taxes will be increased sometime in the future relative to the national debt, which is now at $20 trillion. However, few people do anything to mitigate or reduce the taxes. Believing taxes will increase, but doing nothing is the ninth wonder of the world. Future taxation is important, and most CPAs and financial advisors do not address it. The $20 trillion U.S. debt has to be paid, and the $33 trillion of qualified money that's in deferral makes a perfect target. What you think you have today after the current taxes are paid may shrink significantly when taxes are increased due to the national debt. Congress can increase taxes overnight if they ever talk to each other. They have increased taxes in the past overnight, and they can do it again. There have been proposals in Congress to eliminate the Roth IRA. There also have been proposals last year for Congress to charge a 2 to 3% fee on the $33 trillion of qualified money in deferral. There are books and articles published by authorities that substantiate that the pros tax increases. Ed Slott, who you can see on TV, who's a CPA on PBS channel, is a great source of information. He advocates get rid of your 401ks. The fourth area is most people believe that that want to maximize their Social Security. However, this is not feasible with many people. If they do not have adequate qualified money or assets, they will need to optimize their Social Security benefits. The operative word is optimize. This is accomplished by balancing your assets and spending down your 401ks. This allows the Social Security to grow at 8% tax-free every year. And this is accomplished by using a computerized program to solve for it. There's about 20,000 combinations that are needed. This may not be the situation for everybody, but we have special design software that will determine these scenarios. The solution is education, and see how the numbers unfold for you.
Jack, what would you say are the most common pitfalls preventing your prospects from achieving their goals?
Well, most people that I've met have experienced one or more of the following. They do not start saving and planning early enough. Many believe that the stock market is the only way to make money, and every dip will recover rapidly. What they don't know is the S&P's compounded annual growth rate from 2000 to 2016 was only 2.4%. If the money was in a special design life insurance product, it performed compounded annual growth rate at 7.2%, almost 3 times better. And the principal is always guaranteed. Believing CPAs and stockbrokers and security advisors with all credentials are knowledgeable in all advanced products. That is the third problem. It's impossible for them to be completely knowledgeable in all these products, as we've discussed before. Don't let me give you the wrong impression. I do have 8 CPAs that are clients and are slowly increasing the numbers who have implemented the advanced insurance products in their practices. However, they are the minority. But they have taken the time and energy to learn all these advanced insurance products. Another small percentage actually sell the basic annuities and death benefits that are actually my competition. The problem is that 95% of them are not knowledgeable at all with the advanced insurance products.
Jack, can you share a lesson that you learned early on that impacts how you perform your services today still?
Well, I sure can. 35 years ago, I had a consulting business, and I had a negative experience working with an insurance agent. I had purchased a 7-pay life insurance policy in my 401k. My insurance agent did not tell me the pros and cons of it. Hence, when the interest rates dropped, I ended up paying for premiums, and I'm paying them for life.
Wow.
As a result of my experience, I am compelled to give the pros and cons or downsides of every product and strategy that I discuss. I do not want anyone to have the same experience as me, being blindsided and paying premiums for life.
What's one thing that we may not have covered that you can share with someone who wants to have a successful retirement?
Well, let me tell you a story. My father-in-law used to be the number one handicapper of racehorses at Pimlico. And he took me to the racetrack one time, and he said, give me $20. And this is many, many years ago, when $20 is probably worth $200 today. He said, bet on this horse. I'm going to teach you how to bet the horses. And I did. And I bet on the horse, and the horse ran last. And I said, Glenn, you're the expert. Everybody follows you around. You gave me the horse, you ran last. He said, I taught you lesson number 1. Never listen to anyone, not even me.
Oh, wow.
So he said, that goes for stockbrokers, real estate agents, or anyone giving you advice. The secret is to take the time to educate yourself with the concepts and strategies. You don't have to know the details of everything, but you better know the concepts, the strategies, the moving parts, the pros and cons. Read books, articles, and watch videos. Hence, I've been doing this all my life with myself and my clients. I tell my clients, don't even listen to me. Read the contracts. Don't listen to anybody, because all they're going to do is confuse you. Read the contracts. The key is reading the contracts, but not by yourself. Read it with me so I can interpret the contracts for you, because they're written by lawyers. And I can answer the questions and what the meaning is, which is significant and which is not significant. So if you're compelled for your CPA to be involved, involve him early, but let him get educated with you.
That's sage advice. So how does one benefit by being knowledgeable?
They can make excellent decisions. You'll never regret your decisions once you're knowledgeable.
So, Jack, for our listeners out there who'd like to get more information and connect with you, how do they find you?
Well, they can find me by phone at 424-228-4431. My email address is jhradesky@ca.rr.com. And the internet, my website is taxfreeretirementspecialist.com.
Fantastic. Hey, Jack, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing with my listeners. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
I'm Mark Imperial, and this is the program spotlighting noteworthy professionals, experts, and business owners from around the world and in your town. If you know a great business or professional that we should feature on the program, I'd like to hear from you. You could nominate them by emailing me at radio@markimperial.com. Once again, that's radio@markimperial.com. In this next segment, our home stretch, I've got a special treat for you. If you're a business owner or professional, or if you aspire to be one, for over 7 years, I've been interviewing leading experts and business celebrities and sharing their secrets to success with you. From my first show, Entrepreneur's Edge, to Game Changers Radio, to Mad Rocket Business, all the way to Remarkable Radio and this program today, in this home stretch, I'm bringing you a flashback to one of my most popular episodes, covering how to attract clients magnetically using only the power of words and without costly branding. So enjoy this very special edition home stretch, and here we go.
Now, get the edge. Here are Mark and Tom.
Hey, welcome to the show. It's Mark Imperial, another power thinking hour here at Entrepreneur's Edge.
Mark, this is Tom Rebar, and it is time for all the capitalists and all of the entrepreneurs and the self-employed people and the professionals in private practice and all the sales and marketing pros to come out of the woodwork and put their feet up and join together and learn for an hour.
That's right. So welcome back, everybody. And we've got a terrific show. We're recapping a fantastic week that we had here at Entrepreneur's Edge. We just had our Entrepreneur's Edge live event last Wednesday. And boy, it was a hoot. The party was jumping. I'm telling you, they almost had to kick us out of the hotel.
They did, and there's nothing like talking about advertising and copywriting that gets people out of their chairs, because once you start talking about that, people realize that even if you thought you knew everything there was to know about it, you realize there's more to learn and more to still learn.
Yeah, the place was absolutely on fire. We had Conrad Hall and Ken Schreiber join us and speaking on copywriting and writing the words that sell your business. What better way to get to the bullet points of that than to recap what we talked about at Wednesday's event?
Go for it.
And you know what? In fact, if you missed it, you really missed a hugely valuable opportunity to boost your response. Because I'm talking about, we talked about headlines and postcard and copy that got 4 to 5 times the response of another control. So that's a 400 to 500% increase by just changing the words on the paper. How many folks don't think about that?
A whole bunch.
So we started out, one of our guest speakers, Ken Schreiber, he was talking about lead generation and the minute differences about generating leads with your copy as opposed to like using sales conversion. Now, one of the key points and takeaways he talked about, he started out, check this out. The first thing he said when he got up on the stage is he said, "Who here wants a surefire way to get new customers or prospects without any marketing cost?" And all the hands went up, right?
Mine went up.
Yeah.
I was the first one.
Now, guess what? He says that was the first lesson in lead generation. You are trying to identify exactly with the person what is it that they want. So if you have the right market, the right list, and then you give them that question, who wants this solution? And you're talking directly at a person, and they raise their hand and identify. That is it. That's as simple as that. And then you make them an offer that they just can't refuse.
Because all you want is to find out who those people are who are willing to raise their hand.
Yeah, and you could adapt that into any business type that you can. Now look at this. Another key is speaking directly at that target person. If you get a list, if you're doing a mailing, a postcard mailing, and you know who that customer is you're looking for, you identify it and you speak directly at their problems. You have to identify, and we talked about this. I call it the hidden benefit. Because you have to you think about your customer and think of all the problems that they have in their lives, because what you are is you're a problem solver. That brings up another point. A lot of business owners, a lot of businesses out there, they make the mistake, and we had some folks talk about this in the room as well. I say, what is your ad about? What was the message you put in your marketing? And they said, well, a discount, a discount or percentage off. And the reality is that they're trying to sell their product directly. And we say that kind of hurts your response, because when you try to sell your product directly, the only people that are responding are those that are ready to buy like your widget or your thing right now.
At that immediate point in time.
So it's about transcending timing. So we're going to be back after this break and continue, because we've got a lot of nuggets that came out of that event on writing words that sell. BusinessEdgeRadio.com. Go to the website, get our free gift, and we'll be right back after this.
Stay with us.
Business owners and entrepreneurs. Once again, here's Mark and Tom.
Hey, welcome back to your Power Thinking Hour for entrepreneurs and business owners. It's Mark Imperial.
This is Tom Rebar. Hey, Mark, let's go back to that the story you were telling right before the break about the person who was going for the jugular and trying to make the big sale right out of the gate. Let's try to make sure we bring the loop fully closed there. What do you do to get around that?
Well, let's see. As I mentioned, a lot of business owners, they think, they're not, they're in the mindset of, I got to sell my thing. So they're focused on, how can I sell my thing? Let me present my product or my service, and let me give a discount or a coupon. That's like the knee-jerk reaction to what they're offering.
And then when people don't buy, right away they think, my price is still too high, so they get into this headset of, now I got a further discount.
Yeah, they're focusing on the wrong thing, and it's because they get a low response rate. But our answer to that, what we know from testing, is that the low response rate is because you're not transcending timing. You're making an offer for people that are ready to buy right that minute. But then when somebody is in the buying cycle, but they're not just quite ready to buy yet, and maybe a month down the road, they forgot all about you. You're only picking up the immediate buyers. You have to find a way to transcend the timing, and we do that with lead generation.
And it has nothing to do with price. So
that's right.
Get price out of your head, that it's not that your price is too high.
That's often the last thing to even consider is the price. I mean, the example that I'm going to give you and for the listeners is we had a terrific home remodeling company in the audience and asked us, how do we directly link what we're talking about here at the event to his type of business? I said, is there a business that feels like they don't know how to link this lead generation strategy to theirs? And then he raised his hand and he said, home remodeling, what do I do? And I said, what are you doing currently to get your business? He said, I did a mailing. What was the offer on the mailing? It was a discount of some sort. And we told him the same thing. You're selling a discount. You're only going to pick up the buyers ready to buy now. And then he said, well, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is you want to find people that may not just be thinking about buying right now, but maybe they're already in their head. You know what? 6 months from now, a year from now, I know I'm going to have a move. How are you going to get those people to identify themselves so you can continue to stay in front of them? Well, we said, why don't you offer a report called, the 7 deadly traps and how to avoid them, how to save blah, blah, blah on your remodeling costs, how to get how to remodel your kitchen, your home or whatever, and save the maximum. 7 deadly traps, a report that is going to be useful to that prospect. That way, even if it's 6 months or a year from now that they're thinking about the move, they still want that free report. That little trick alone increases the response 4 or 5 times.
Easily. And you could tell that this fella, because I was sitting across the room from him, he had a big smile on his face as soon as you started to unveil that story, because you could tell right away he got it. Mm-hmm. And head kind of went back into Oh, that makes sense right away to him. So
That's right.
He was a very smart person.
Yeah. So, back to the list of what Ken Schreiber was speaking about. He's, another nugget was speak directly at him. Who is it that you're mailing to and what is their direct problem? The next point is everyone's favorite radio station besides WIND is WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Exactly.
So that, literally the headline or the message that you put on your mailing pieces has to address directly at them because it has to pass that test. Conrad Hall mentioned this, the so what test. You read your headline, whatever you consider your headline, and run it through your own head and say, okay, I read something and so what? Is it going to make you say so what, or is it going to intrigue you to read further?
Well, in fact, he even suggests to do that for every one of your bullets. When you put the bullet there, just read it out loud and say, now, so what? What is that person going to answer if they read it and you say, so what, to give yourself a chance to substantiate that bullet in your head?
Yes, that's right.
Is it a worthy bullet?
Yep. And I have a litmus test actually for you. Let's first of all, let's wrap up with what Conrad was talking about before we even go into the litmus test on headlines. But, Conrad has a great description for copywriting. He said it's the art of using words to create action. Now think about that. The art of using words to create action. How many folks really think of their advertising in that way? The most of the time I see people doing an advertisement, it's like the name of their company or their logo. How does that create any action?
One of the best testimonials for last night was I brought my assistant along to your summit. He is just beginning to think about the art of copywriting. And when we left, he said that was one of the best meetings he's ever been to. And he got more notes in a short period of time about how to write copy than he ever thought he would by coming along last night.
It's incredible. And, a lot of the stuff that, many of our pros in Mastermind, for example, we take it for granted because we've been so immersed in this kind of marketing, but it's eye-opening for many. For example, one of the big keys that was huge for everyone in the room was when Ken Schreiber described, and remember the headline, who else here wants to know how to acquire new customers and prospects without any acquisition cost, right? Now, how do you do it without acquisition cost? Well, if you were at the summit, I don't have enough time in the next 4 minutes to tell you, but you can do, it was a brilliant strategy he had about liquidating your marketing costs. Mm-hmm. And so you have to be at Entrepreneur's Edge live events. And these are the kind of things that we talk about. So, this is probably the best time ever to give a plug for the next live event. Make sure you go to Business Edge Live or businessedgeradio.com, click on the live events tab, and you're going to find the next meeting in Madison, the next meeting in Green Bay, and the next meeting in Oak Brook. Hey, we've only got about a minute here, and I want to talk about one bullet. I have about 12 here.
Go ahead.
But let's talk about the headline, because what is the headline? The headline of your ad is the ad for your ad. Does that make sense? And what is the only job of the headline?
The only job of the headline is to shout it out and get somebody to be interested in taking the next step, which is to read what else is there. Read
the next line, absolutely. And it's the most valuable real estate on your ad or your postcard or your mailing. And what do most companies inadvertently waste in that space? What do they do in that space instead?
How many people put the name of their company or their logo up at the top of the ad or the top of their website, and then they wonder why nobody's reading it? It's because they never had a headline there.
Hey, in the wrap-up, I'm going to give my litmus test for great headlines for all the listeners. After the break, Tom Apicella from Think Spaces in Naperville, Illinois, will be joining us to give us his tips, tricks, and secrets for furnishing your office. We'll be right back. BusinessEdgeRadio.com.
We'll be here. Stay with us. BusinessEdgeRadio.com for all the events.
Hey, we're back. It's Mark Imperial.
And this is Tom Rebar. We are in the home stretch again. Mark, I can't believe another week has gone by so fast.
That's right. Hey, we're back here with Tom Apicella from Think Spaces in Naperville, Illinois. Hey, Tom, I wanted to ask you, you just recently joined our mastermind group here at Entrepreneur's Edge. Can you tell me what drew you to the group and what you're getting out of it so far?
Well, what drew me to the mastermind group is, I want to have other like-minded entrepreneurs and people that I can basically bounce ideas off of, talk about my business to help expand it. Because as a lot of people know, there's a lot of businesses in one business that you can extrapolate from. So just having that, and then it's also, for accountability when you come up with new strategies and ideas, there's some accountability because they're going to ask you, well, what did you do with what you said you were going to do with last month?
Yeah.
And, action is the way to make things happen in business.
That's terrific. And now for the folks listening, whether they're a property manager or a business owner looking to move or improve their spaces, how can they get a hold of you for your information?
You can go to thinkspaces.net and you can fill out one of our interior design contact forms, or there's a phone number on there that you can call, 630-324-4598.
Tom, it was terrific having you on the show. Thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the show.
Terrific. Thank you. Tom, we're on the home stretch now.
We are. I can't believe it.
Now, I promised a litmus test for people to test whether their headlines are any good.
So give them.
All right, here it is. Now, this is sort of like the classified test, if you think of like a classified ad. And what are the classified ads all about? It's usually a small, tiny little ad, right?
Very small.
With just, you don't have enough room to put anything but a blurb and a call to action, a CTA, like a phone number, right?
That's exactly right.
So what you do is you take whatever you think is your headline and then you neuter out everything else and just put your phone number or whatever your response mechanism is under it. And if the two make sense and entice you to move forward, like let me give you an example. What do most people use as their headline that's wrong? And we talk about this a lot. The company name, right?
Name and maybe a logo.
So let's look at the litmus test. A to Z painting, phone number. Now, is that entice you to take any action?
So who'd call with A to Z painting and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
That's right. There's no words that cause action. Now, what if the headline, let me think just off of the top of my head here. Let's use an example for a bowling alley, okay? Something weird. Now, what if the headline said how to bowl a 300 every time and then a phone number? Now, that causes you a little bit more enticement to call that number.
Sure
So
would.
there's a difference between that's the litmus test. Take your headline and put just the headline and the phone number or response mechanism. And is that enough to make somebody take some action? That's the litmus test.
Great test.
So that
Now,
makes every word count.
Hopefully nobody just puts that in an ad, a headline and a phone number. It'd be nice to have a little more copy than that. But I understand what the litmus test is.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what we talked about. And it's about all the time we had to talk about today was headlines, but It's the most important piece. What else do we know about headlines? Headlines are the most important part of the ad. You remember at the event, I gave you 3 headlines that were tested. And I'll tell you what, let's do the test right now. One of the headlines got 5 times the response of the other 2. Was it headline A, I've never been able to get a good portrait of my child until now? Or B, finally a children's portrait worth more than the paper it's printed on? Or C, the best children's portrait at the right price guaranteed? We did this test. People raised their hand. The room was about split, but the answer is B. And again, we said, what's the reason why? Everyone gave reasons that they thought why B won, but the truth is it doesn't matter. You just have to test.
And everybody's afraid to test.
And guess what? They didn't change any other part of the ad.
Customer.
Just the headline.
Hey, go out to businessedgeradio.com. We have Wayne Brightbath coming this next month in March up in Green Bay and Madison. He's going to talk about business use of LinkedIn. Unbelievable ideas, so come and see us.
See you later. Hey, it's Mark Imperial. I hope you enjoyed those highlights. Again, if you know a professional or business that we should feature on the show, you could nominate them by emailing me at radio@markimperial.com. One more time, that's radio@markimperial.com. Until next time, This is Mark Imperial. Make it a remarkable week. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.